We'd like to welcome everyone to this evening's formal meeting of the Salt Lake City Council. As is customary, my name is James Rogers, and I'll be conducting the meeting tonight. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll all please stand. So I'm going to just read since we're a packed house tonight, I want to welcome everyone here and just remind you that if you've parked underneath the library and the underground parking, staff does have validations for you. So if you have parked there, please raise your hand and we'll make sure that you get that. We have few opportunities for public comment tonight, and we'll call people based on the comment cards that have been turned in. I will call one person I'll call two people. One person will come up. The second person will be at the ready. So we'll just get started this evening, but we need to approve the council work session meeting minutes of Tuesday, October 15th, 2019, as well as the formal meeting minutes of Tuesday, November 12th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilmember Fowler and a second by Councilmember Johnston. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. So we're into the public hearings portion of our comments this evening. And I have one comment card on item B1, which is an ordinance for 1760 and 1790 West associated with an avenue zoning map amendment. I've got Andrew Reese is the only comment card I've got this evening. So come on up, Andrew, and you'll have 2 minutes to get your thoughts across to the council and your perspective that you're wanting to relay.
Okay, thank you. Well, good evening. I'm Andrew Reese with Standard Plumbing. Grateful to be here tonight. My family has owned and operated the property at 1760 West and 1790 West Associated Avenue since 1965. And originally, my grandfather sold plumbing supplies from this location and also manufactured plumbing products. And from 1965 to 1995, this property was zoned M1 for light manufacturing. And it's our understanding that the zoning change occurred in 1995 as a part of the Commercial Corridor Initiative. And because we'd been at the property for 30 years and operating, it wasn't something that we resisted. And what we've done at the property hasn't changed during that time. So the property was originally one parcel. It is now 3 parcels, and we would appreciate your support in restoring the original zoning for that location from Commercial Corridor to M1 Light Manufacturing. Thank you for your consideration, and we'd appreciate your support.
Thank you. Anyone else here want to speak on this item? Seeing none.
Is there a motion here?
Mr. Chair, I move that the council close the public hearing.
My microphone off. Let me try that again. I move that the council close the public hearing and defer action to a future council meeting.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fowler and a second by Councilmember Johnston. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. We're on to item B2. I don't have any comment cards. This is an ordinance for library fund budget amendment for fiscal year 2019 and 20. Does anyone want to speak in regards to this? Great.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I moved that the council close the hearing and adopt the ordinance amending the Salt Lake City Public Library Fund budget for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fowler and second by Councilmember Johnson to adopt. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. On to item B3, which is a resolution for public benefits analysis of the Magnolia Project at 165 South, 300 East. And I do not have any comment cards on this item. Does anyone want to address the council on this topic? Seeing none.
Mr. Chair, I move the council close the public hearing and adopt a resolution authorizing the lease rate and term for the Magnolia Permanent Supportive Housing Development located at 165 South, 300 East.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Johnston, a second by Councilmember Fowler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. We're on to item B4, which is a resolution required fee waiver for youth participating in Youth City programs.
Mr. Chair, I move the council close the public hearing and refer the item to a future date for action.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Johnston, second by Councilmember Fowler. Is there anyone in the public, I didn't ask, that would want to speak in regards to this? Seeing none, any discussion? I'm excited about this. I think
Yeah,
this is
me too.
fantastic. So it's a grant that we would receive over $200,000 to help, those that can waive it. So this is great. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. We are on to potential,
Mr. Chair, Councilmember Charlie Luke has joined you.
oh, great.
Hi,
Councilmember
Charlie.
Luke, welcome.
Where is he?
He's over there on the telephone.
Hello,
He
on
can't
telephone.
see us. He can just, he might be watching on that camera.
Can you hear them? Okay, very good.
Okay, we're on to potential action items tonight, which is an ordinance for Salt Lake City and Mill Creek proposed boundary adjustment. That's item C1. I don't have any comment cards. Is
Miss-
there, I'm sorry, no comment cards.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the council adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fowler and second by Councilmember Johnston. Is there any discussion?
Close the hearing, maybe?
Oh, I would move to close the hearing as well. And if I may have just a brief point of privilege, we worked really hard, no?
There's no hearing.
I'm sorry, I led you astray.
It's because I said
Dang
that
you,
there were going to be
Cindy.
comments. That's my
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
And there are none, so.
So there's no
So I
hearing.
go back to my original motion.
I stand with my original second.
And if I may have just a point
You
of
can
privilege.
have lots of points of privilege.
Ah, thanks, James. So I just want to say that, I want to commend this council for working so hard on this boundary issue and working with Mill Creek. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that Salt Lake City is oftentimes viewed as not as a bad example, as like the bad kid in the room causing trouble. But I actually think we do a lot of really good work and can be an example of how neighbors and cities can work together to solve their differences and be good neighbors. And this is one of those prime examples. So thanks to all of you for the hard work that we put into this during the legislative session last year, all the way up until today. So it's taken us a year to actually get through this, nearly, I guess. So thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 There he is, and that motion carries. We're on to item C2, which is an ordinance for a zoning map amendment at 1937 South, 1200 East. I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the council adopt an ordinance rezoning the property located at 1937 South, 1200 East to RMF 45.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Wharton, a second by Councilmember Fowler. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? That was unanimous. That carries through. Item C3, which is budget amendment number 2 for fiscal year 2019 and 20.
Did he leave? Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Councilmember Luke has left the meeting.
Okay.
We're just calling
But
it
we
those
have been
two
joined by
items.
Councilmember Wharton. He sneaked in on me. I didn't see him, so welcome.
Glad to be here. I was under the table the whole time.
Okay, we're looking for a motion for budget amendment number 2.
nobody wants to read all that.
Mr. Chair, I move the council adopt an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2019-2020 final budget of Salt Lake City, including the employment staffing document as recommended by the administration with the changes shown on the motion sheet. I further move that the council approve an updated debt service schedule and an interlocal agreement between Salt Lake City and the Redevelopment Agency of Salt Lake City for the agency's contribution to debt service payments for 2007A bonds issued by Salt Lake City for the construction of the West Side Railroad Realignment Project Grant Tower.
Second.
A second, motion by Councilmember Johnston and second by Councilmember Wharton. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries. We are on to item D1, questions to the mayor from the city council. And we have David Litvack here. Welcome. How are you? Good. Any questions for Mr. Litvack? One more meeting. Here we go. All right, we're on to the comments to the council, and I don't have any cards. Does anyone want to address, this is a first. Does anyone want to address the council this evening?
Bobby doesn't count.
Bobby does not count. Nobody.
He's showing the public what card they need to fill out.
We're simple minds over here.
Okay. Yes, come on up, state your full name, and
thank
let me give you the spill. Here we go. You've got 2 minutes. Be kind, be courteous. Let's go.
I'll stammer for 30 seconds. Since I have the opportunity, you guys are awesome. I've been in front of many boards, many committees and councils and et cetera, and this council has consistently, for years, been kind, as you said, and it's just, I just want to thank you for it. That's all. See you later.
Well, thank you, and I'll go a little bit beyond that. It's not the council, it's our staff. They are so well-equipped to help with the city and make sure it functions properly, so. Yeah. Okay, we don't have any comments other than that. We'll move on. I don't have any new business. We are moving on to unfinished business items, F1, which is an ordinance for council role in open government agendas and paperwork.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the council adopt the ordinance enacting section 2.06.035 of the Salt Lake City Code relating to the city council role in open government, meeting agenda development, paperwork and scheduling, and the city council meeting outline.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fowler and second by Councilmember Wharton. Is there any discussion?
I tried really hard to say that whole thing in one breath.
You really did a good job.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion passes. We're on to F2, which is the council policy manual update, agendas and paperwork.
Mr. Chair, I move that the council adopt a resolution updating section C6 or C.6 of the council policy manual to reflect the changes outlined in the attachments pertaining to the city council role in open government, meeting agenda development, paperwork, and scheduling, and council meeting online, eliminating section C.12 relating to work session agendas and paperwork.
Motion by Councilmember Wharton and a second by Councilmember Valdemoros. Is there any discussion?
I think it was outlined, not online. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, outlined. Maybe it is online, you don't know that.
It could be.
Okay, it is outlined.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Thank you, Chris, anyway.
We are on to item F3, which is the resolution for Housing Trust Fund loan for the Magnolia project at 165 South, 300 East.
Mr. Chair, I move the council adopt a resolution authorizing a housing trust fund loan of $1,500,000 to Shelter the Homeless Magnolia LLC for the Magnolia Permanent Supportive Housing Development located at 165 South, 300 East.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Johnston and a second by Councilmember Wharton. Is there any discussion? I think this is fantastic. It's 65 units of permanent supportive housing coming online. So this is another win in the affordable housing component that we're looking for and that we always seem to look for as a council and RDA board. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that motion is unanimous. On to item 4, which is approval of the funds for fiscal year 2019-20, funding our future housing program applications.
Mr. Chair.
I don't have that one, actually. I'm sorry. That one's been,
Oh,
You were holding that till next week, I believe. is that
Yep.
right? That's what you decided in the meeting.
Do you have a duplicate?
and
I do.
Do we have the consent agenda?
I've got a duplicate of the same one.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay, so that is I believe, the last item on our unfinished business. We're going to move on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Except we're going to remove 3 names from the consent
Right,
agenda.
and it's numbers 2, 4, and 5, folks that were not able to be here tonight.
Are you okay with those?
With the exception of 2, 4, and 5.
Great. Motion by Councilmember Wharton. I didn't not.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Fowler. Thank you very much. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion carries, and we are adjourned.
Strong work, team.